Hello, ladies and gentlemen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. For those of you trying to sync up, there's a couple people actually listening and trying to watch their own versions of the video as we are recording this, as kind of a precursor, I guess you could say, to we're actually going to be doing some live commentary of the OSL finals, and so we're just kind of practicing for that, I guess you could say, by doing a little bit of live recording here. In any case, this is Jaedong versus Much Game 2. And we've got Jaedong spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. He's in purple, and Much is going to be in the top left-hand corner in, it looks like, yellow. And this map is Tiamat, which is the interesting one, where you have your bases. You've got several bases along either side of the map, left or right side, and they're neutral buildings that can be broken down to access those bases. Otherwise, if the neutral buildings are still in place, you've got one choke point, and you can see Much is going to probably set up his pylon right next to his choke point. So we're probably going to be seeing standard Protoss fast expansion build from him, given the fact that he's put his pylon so far out.
And I really find Tiamat to be an interesting map. I think it's somewhat anti-Zerg just because you do have those neutral buildings to the north. I feel like Zerg has to cover more territory than basically the other two races, a little bit more. Because Zerg, it's the least of the defensive races. You always have to be on your toes. You can build units obviously right in your base as you're being attacked and things like that. And this is interesting. Much might be going for... no, okay, now he's bringing it around. I thought he was idling a little bit to the north now, but now bringing that probe scout in. Looks like he's going to set up once again for a standard fast expand, and I'm curious what he's going to do on this map. A lot of options for Protoss. I think there's a lot of things you can do. Jaedong, in the meantime, just going to set up for that 9 pool. And we'll see if Jaedong goes for... I also feel like this can be an easy map to seal a Protoss opponent in. So Much, obviously, having that happen to him, I would say in the last 2 games, being very vulnerable to that strategy, getting sealed in basically in the last 2 matches versus Jaedong. He needs to be very wary of that, the push to lurkers or even push to Mulisks, and then the denial. Someone needs to... Wow, that's awesome. You guys can read exactly what's happening on screen there. But anyway, he needs to be very, and I'm going to assume that's in Korean. The exact same thing that was written over to the right there. I can't read otherwise. No, I just gonna let people read that out. Anyway, but getting a little bit too long-winded here again. But yeah, basically Much needs to push out of his base, get that 3rd expansion down, and he needs to be the aggressor. He can't allow Jaedong to be the aggressor, and we'll see how that progresses in the game. But really what it's going to come down to is, yeah, if Much can just, make sure Jaedong doesn't dominate, make sure Jaedong doesn't get the lurker contained, make sure Jaedong doesn't just run all over the place with Mulisks across the map.
Yeah, Much is being far too predictable for my liking, and Jaedong, the only downside to Jaedong obviously going for this build, going for the spawning pool first, is delay that and harass that with the probe, and we saw him do that last time, but this time Jaedong seems to have factored that into the equation and has altered his build so that he's actually not even looking to put that hatchery down until after those Zerglings pop out. So it'll be interesting to see whether maybe he's trying to get that layer up quickly or whether he's trying to speed upgrade those Zerglings, and that's why there's the delay in yeah, Much has been far too predictable in his choice of strategies and builds against Jaedong, and Jaedong is taking full advantage of that, just going for the fast expand each and every time. It would have been nice to maybe see him even try and proxy Jaedong a little bit, although that would have been disastrous considering Jaedong's choice of build. And Much already putting down 3 photon cannons so early on in the game, really committing a lot of resources to such an early static defense. Jaedong, obviously, yeah, Jaedong is taking to lair, so Much is just allowing Jaedong to play his game at ease, and I'm not sure how clever that is. The other thing I wanted to say is, if you look at the expression on the face of the 2 players, Jaedong's is one of determined hunger, whereas Much is one of nervous anticipation, and Much still anticipating some kind of a rush coming from Jaedong, which is why the 3rd photon cannon is going down. He's got 2 probes blocking the path into them beside the pylon, and obviously Jaedong is not doing that whatsoever right now, so massive miscalculation by Much, and the Giants fan in the audience, I don't know who they are, but anyway, not looking good for Much as far as I'm concerned.
I'm actually going to be going to a Giants game in a couple weeks, but that's beside the point. Much has a nice little anti-Zergling door set up. He's got his buildings in a nice little curve around and going all the way around to the minerals, so Zerglings will be very hard-pressed to get in there. Unfortunately, yeah, Much has been kept out of Jaedong's space again, so he doesn't know what's happening. He doesn't know if he's getting Hydralisks or Zerglings or anything like that. Jaedong just now getting his 2nd base up, it looks like. Someone cut in and correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like that's only a 2nd base. I usually would have expected Jaedong to switch to more of an economy build, but instead he's gone for a faster tech. So he's getting his lair up pretty quickly, he's getting his spire up, and again, about the same timing as last game, actually, where he's getting his Spire up about the same time as the Stargate, and he's going to have Scourges out even before their Corsairs are out, it looks like, at this rate. He is getting... in the meantime, while Aspire is going up, it looks like he is switching into getting a lot of drones and what have you. Although, let's see if he's saving up Larvae or anything like that. He might actually be saving up Larvae for some quick mutas here. And this might actually, in fact, catch much off guard. He's just getting his Stargate up. He's going to have a maximum of one Corsair out by the time Jaedong's forces pop. Although, he is going to have a long distance across the map to get across. So he might be able to have 2 out and a couple Dragoons. He might be able to fend this off.
Honestly, I don't think it's going to be the case. He's not. Wow, hasn't even produced the Corsair straight off the bat. He needs to get. It does have 1 cannon coming in. He needs to plop 2 more down right now to stand a chance against these Mutalisk. The 2 hatched Mutalisk rush, and they're going to be pressing right into the back of Much's base momentarily, and Much not sniffing this out, not predicting it. The Corsair just now being built, and there's only a single cannon back there. The Mutalisks already are loose, already starting to head that direction. They might peek around the secondary, but I expect them to go directly for the main. And Much, I think that's going to be GG right off the bat. Second cannon just going down, but yeah, just going down, but it's not even going to go up before the Mutalisks arrive. That first cannon's going to go down very quickly. Then it's going to be up the lone Corsair. That lone Corsair right there, that poor sick fool.
Go Corsair!
Running across, not even in position. Come back! And yeah, it's just not going to happen here. Those Mutalisks up in and just all over the place. More cannons going down, but it's too late for Much. He's at the very least going to lose his main. It's going to be back at base, and that's going to give Jaedong an opportunity. If he doesn't GG immediately, that's going to give Jaedong an opportunity to basically take over the entire map once again. So a little bit of cheese here, although it is a pretty standard build. It's an all-in build right here from Jaedong, which I'm very surprised he's doing. Instead of playing a little bit, I guess didn't want to let Much get any sort of creative unit combos out in the field. But yeah, very dominant, very quick, and honestly, Much did not sniff it out, and he needed to be Psychic right there and just wasn't.
I don't think it's even a case of Psychic. I don't think it's... I think it's... I've got to give a lot of credit to Jaedong. He's found a creative way of dealing with the structure of the map. I mean, he figured probably that in a straight-up game, over the longer course, and Much with a couple of Zealots going in, but he's got a Sunken as well as Zerglings as well as 2 Mutalisks waiting right there for that sort of counter from Much, and it's quite impotent really when it arrives. But I think Jaedong figured probably that in a straight-up game, the Protoss player would have an advantage if he was left unharassed to begin with anyway, and that he would probably lose the game in the long run. So it didn't really cost him much to go for this sort of risky strategy, and Much GG's right there taken out by Jaedong. But I think this was a battle, and so far this matchup has been a battle of creativity versus orthodoxy, and in my opinion, creativity always deserves to and does win ultimately in the end, as displayed by Jaedong there. But Jaedong, the key there was